In the land of R4 cards, we have multiple different types. Is this the end game for all these fake R4 cards with the Easy Flash parallel? Well, today we're about to find out with this in-depth review about what the Easy Flash R4 card can do. We have seen many R4 cards in the past and present, but not anything like this. The Easy Flash Parallel could really change your decision on buying those cheap $5 R4 cards on AliExpress after I share my experience and thoughts about why you should buy one. So the big thing I wanted to test off the bat was if we could use a bigger micro SD card. Formatted correctly, of course, as according to their website, it can only handle up to 32 kilobytes, just kidding, gigabytes, micro SD cards, which my test proved that you can actually go at least up to 256 gigabytes formatted to FAT32 at 64 kilobyte cluster size. So the big thing I wanted to test out first was Game Boy Advanced emulation. The reason for this is because there's games like Pokemon Emerald, for example, that doesn't work usually with the default menu for any of these other R4 cards. So I jumped into GBA Runner 2 ARM7 build, loaded up Pokemon Emerald here, and I just wanted to see if maybe the chip would render it better, which it didn't. The game just black screened and it's still not working the way I thought it would work. So the actual card itself isn't altering any emulation, at least not right now, but that's maybe something that we can see in an update in the future. Now this part, I was trying to figure out how to check out the menu, and I was trying to remember what the wood kernel menu buttons were, and it was Y. So Y pops open your menu for your games, and it does have cheats already preloaded. Now I had to update these cheats using the cheat library from Skull something or other. I will put the link in the description below for that if you want to update your own cheats for this card. But this isn't really a guide or anything. It's more of a review of my experience with this thing, because it does still kind of resemble the wood kernel, which it does say on their website, wood kernel R4 cards, which are basically the smart update cards. So there's not really too much differences as I can tell right now in regards to this FPGA chip card. Now that could change in the future. Hopefully it does change in the future, where maybe they put like save states on this, they put different menu options on this. They do have the option to choose a save slot. Maybe that's just something that they're coming out with in the future. And there's just a whole bunch of different menu options here. It's not a lot of menu options, but it does resemble actually the wood kernel itself. Now you do have to go through the process of going to the settings and configuring all your predetermined settings if you want to use the actual menu and all that kind of stuff, which I had a problem with at first, but I guess I just didn't save it. Now, yes, you can do select to actually change your list to like the grid list to show the images. And as you can see, it still loads the card when it's not even plugged in. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just update the cheat library so that I have all of those cheats on my card. So once I updated that on the computer, I just had to unplug my micro SD card. I had all the latest cheats installed. So there's the game enhancer one, which skips the intro, unlock all worlds, and you got to make sure that after you've activated that to press the X button to actually save it. Otherwise it's not going to save that cheat. It does have the same similarities to the other R4 cards. Like I said, the wood kernel is just a generic kernel for the R4 card smart update, where you can just view what the cheat needs to actually activate it. Like this cheat right here needs to be activated by pressing start and select so that I can actually load all the worlds, as you can see at the bottom. Now this is actually activated, I can actually just select one of these worlds and go to it if my touchscreen wants to work. And yeah, I've just activated all the worlds and I've skipped the intro without a problem. And notice how fast the boots are. I don't know if it's just me, but when I was loading into the games, I feel like the boot times were actually a lot faster, but maybe it's just the DS Lite, I'm not sure. If you want to see more in-depth rabbit hole deep diving into this thing, maybe I'll go live with it and check it out. on the channel live with you guys, and maybe that's what I'm going to do here today. So yeah, this is something that I think you should get. This R4 card, or Easy Flash Parallel card, I'm just going to call it an R4 card, is literally like an upgraded version of an R4 card in 2024. There's so much more that, you know, we could see with this, because the FPGA, I always have a tongue twister with that one, chip inside this is customizable, and we can just simply update it as easy as possible by waiting for either somebody to, you know, update it on Easy Flash's team, and we could possibly customize it ourselves if you wanted to, where adding different, you know, different kernels and stuff like that is an option, or adding different features could be an option. The options are endless when it comes to this chip. Now, I wanted to test this out. I wanted to see if Pokemon Black 2 would work. Of course, Pokemon Black 2 is a DSi enhanced game, and I'm sure it won't, which I was right. It's got some proprietary chip inside it that will, you know, still do the same thing as an R4 card. So there's not really too much to say that is different in my kind of initial testing. Now, I've only had this thing for 24 hours at this point, and I didn't go deep diving doing side-by-side comparisons with any of the smart update cards or anything like that. But I did end up popping this into my 2DS and tested out Pokemon Black just to make sure, or Pokemon Black 2, just to make sure that it actually did work. Now, I'm not sure what the game is that loads from the BIOS of this card either. It's just... So I navigated down to Pokemon Black on the 2DS, and it does load, which I assumed it would. The R4 card does the same thing on any of these devices, so it's not a surprise to me. Now, does the menu still load if we hold down A, B, L, R, and down just to get out of the game? Let's see. Maybe it's different on the 2DS, and nope, it still works. So that's how you navigate in and out of games, which is a really cool feature. Now, this feature still doesn't work for GBA games. I did give it a go just to see, because it has an option to select homebrew games as an option, and it does not work this way. It's kind of unfortunate that it doesn't work this way, because it would be nice if we can actually navigate in and out of emulators the way that we want to, but unfortunately not the case in this case. We just have to press the home button or close down our device, or you can pop in and out your R4 card, which I found out if you pop the R4 card out of your DS Lite and then you pop it back in, it'll actually restart your DS Lite. Sometimes it freezes, but it'll actually just restart it and let you just continue playing your games. To summarize, do I think that you should buy one of these? If you already have an R4 card, then it's not really something I would say go out and get right now. Maybe wait and see if it has any cooler updates to it or something. If it's something that you're first time buying, definitely go get one, because R4 cards, even on Amazon, are around 30 bucks. Yes, they do come with a 32 gigabyte crap SD card. I'm going to say crap because it's just a cheap knockoff SD card that's not fast. And it's hard to find, unless you know me, to find the actual kernel, whereas Easy Flash is working on it still. The kernels right now that are out there are not being worked on usually anymore, and this card is progressively being worked on. As I saw, there was like 4 different updates since it released, and I highly recommend checking this out. So yeah, $30, you can probably find it for cheaper if you find the right person, but $30 seems to be like the sweet spot for this thing. Plus you have to get a micro SD card, and you can still find micro SD cards that are under 64 gigabytes for really cheap. You don't need a 256 gigabyte card. Now, I don't know how many games I could put on this. I know original R4 cards can only handle up to 300 games at any given time, so maybe that'll be a test that we test here tonight. And other situations of, I don't think I even had 300 games, to be honest, so maybe that's not something we'll test. But yeah, so this card is kind of a flashy looking card. It looks good, it plays games, it does what it's supposed to, has a nice clean menu, which basically is the same menu as the wood kernel, just kind of hyped up a bit with the Easy Flash, and it's upgradable. So maybe we'll see some people coming out with their own versions of kernels or something. I don't know, but who knows. So yes, real-time save would be a nice option for this, since we have a full customizable chip inside this and the option to play games that originally can't be played without having to load or side load Twilight menu. And that's really about it. Like, it's not really anything different than the smart update card that I can buy for $5 off Amazon, or not Amazon, off AliExpress. This one is like a $10 card off Amazon or AliExpress, and it's just an upgraded card that I think does read faster, and I think it plays better. I don't know. We'll have to play some games and check it out to see if it actually loads or boots games faster, and do maybe a time kind of trial to see if it actually does. Again, would I buy this if it was your first R4 card? Now, I bought this because I have a whole bunch of R4 cards and I thought you guys would love this, so hopefully you do. So it's all up to you in the end what you do, but I do recommend it so far, and the fact that it is so easy to set up, and it is an option for those that don't have any experience with this kind of stuff to actually get something working without having to search all over the internet for 24 hours before they find my video, for example. See you next time. Stay tuned for more content like this, because I have more stuff coming out soon. Subscribe to the channel, become a member. Members get more perks. Members get bonus entries or giveaways like the Odin 2 that I'm running right now, and many more features like seeing this video early. Have a nice day, guys. I love you all. Signing off.